Hey friends, I'm Jeffy G. If you're like me and you own a home studio, you know it's constantly evolving. You're always adding stuff, trying out new software, trying out new gear. I always enjoy it, but I've had this overall strategy of trying to simplify things. There was a time where I just owned too many guitars, too many basses, and too many synthesizers. So part of my strategy has been to do everything in the box, using my MacBook a lot more, and being very careful about some of the hardware I buy. I recently added a 34-inch widescreen monitor, but to do that I had to take apart my desk, and I realized nobody ever shows you what's going on underneath the desk. I'm taking my desk apart because I want to install this monitor. It's a 34-inch widescreen. I'm thinking about keeping my old monitor but putting it way up there, but I don't know if it'll fit. That would be high up over top of the 34-inch, and then the 34-inch would go on this mat. Anyway, the thing that amazes me is that I've tried to simplify my desk by moving stuff off the desk. You know, I got keyboards over there, drums way over there. Okay, I still have that amp and a turntable on the desk. I guess that takes up room. But wait till you see underneath. Okay, well, the first thing is there's a subwoofer, and I love that subwoofer. It has a switch, so I turn it off and on, which is great. See, it's right beside the sustain pedal for my keyboard. But look at the mess. There's a bit of a mess of wires there. I guess it's not that bad. You know, a lot of this is routed up to the speakers and the rack. And then look at this. I got a power bar with almost everything plugged into that one power bar. And I've added some little extension cords and everything. All of the audio devices actually go through that line conditioner by StarTech. That way I get a clean signal for anything that involves audio. I also get one switch that turns on my audio interface and any of the audio related equipment. Okay, this is underneath the desk. Interesting view. I've got a launch key 61 Mark III sitting on this arm, and you can see that arm slides out and up, and then that knob will let you tighten the keyboard so that it's up at the same height as the desk. I like having it up high. I don't like it below. I used to have a drawer. Drawer was mounted on the sides. The drawer was always about 4 inches lower than the desk. Didn't like that too much. Okay, these racks are supposed to hold cables for the desk, which is a hydraulic or electronic desk that goes up and down in height. But it's hard to get cables through there. You can see there's still a lot of stuff dangling. The key is everything has to be free so that you can raise and lower the desk. You can't have short cables that are stuck into the wall because that won't let your desk go up and down. So I added some channel at the back for cables, and then these two clamps are the poles. And I'm just installing the one on the right. The one on the left is the original pole. It's about 30 inches high. Holds the monitor and cameras and all that kind of stuff. And it's amazing that these two poles connected to the bottom of that desk can hold so much weight. Okay, there's a lot of cables on the left going up because that's where the rack is for my audio interface and my MIDI and everything else. And there's a speaker over on that side as well. Speakers are freestanding on their own stand, so they're not affected if you touch the desk or bang on the desk. The right way to hook up your audio interface to the speakers, if you have a sub, is to go from these TRS left and right cables into the subwoofer. So on my X4 here, I've got the main outs and two TRS cables. Then on the back of the subwoofer, you've got those TRS cables coming in as XLR cables. So they are inputs into the crossover, and then outputs go from these XLR jacks back up to the speakers. On the crossover, you've got some settings where you can determine which frequencies are being handled by the subwoofer. In my case, I've set it to just slightly more than 80 hertz. That means the sub will play anything 80 hertz and under. And that's the right way to set it up. I don't often stand to work at this, but it's nice to know that you've got that option. This is a comfortable height, I would say. You'll see some of these round devices. They're a third-party Google-enabled switch. I've got one sitting down there on the floor, and I've placed them in strategic places. One reason for those Google devices is to be able to turn on the speakers last. That way, you avoid any pops or noises that might ruin your speakers. Let me show you how that works. Hey Google, turn on the illuminator.
Okay, turning on the illuminator.
So that turns on the light behind my screen. Hey Google, turn on box light 1.
Okay, turning on the box light 1.
Hey Google, turn on the screamers.
Okay, turning on the screamers.
Hey Google, turn on the keyboards.
Okay, turning keyboards on.
Hey, here's another organizational thing that just saves me a ton of time in my studio. I bought this set of IKEA drawers. They're small. They're really good for holding things like, adapters and USB cables and all those little things you can't find when you're in a hurry. And down below I have some baskets where I put in cables. And up top I'll have mic cables and 1/4-inch cables. The longer cables go in the baskets. All the short stuff goes in there. So very organized, very helpful. If you've watched my channel before, you know that I have some disabilities as a result of an illness. So climbing under the desk is always a challenge. And if you have to get under the desk, to do something, raising it up first gives you a little bit more room to work. But if you found this video interesting, click on the like button. Consider subscribing to the channel. The subscription count really does actually help me quite a bit. And if you have comments, be sure to post them. I'll answer all your questions, I promise you that.